Welcome back, everyone. It's Garland here, bringing you a new Neverwinter video. And today is a huge day. So as of filming this video, it is December 22nd of 2021. This news broke yesterday on the 21st, and I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Cryptic Studios has been sold. Perfect World has also been sold. We're going to go through all the details and everything that we know up until this point. It was a very large transaction. I'm going to be tossing around a lot of financial terms here when we look at the news press release. But I know a lot of people have questions, concerns. A lot of people are worried that the game is going to be shut down now. A lot of people just don't know exactly what's going to happen. Now, I do have some answers, but I do not have all of the answers. So we're going to look at the press release. We're going to look at the information that we do have concrete information about, and we're going to go from there. So this is huge news. Huge news. Cryptic has been around for over 20 years. I believe they were founded in the year 2000. So 21 years Cryptic Studios has been around. So this is posted by Chris, aka Julia, who's still playing the community manager role, even though she's not really the community manager anymore, but that doesn't really matter. So it's just a mini FAQ, nothing major. Will Neverwinter be sunsetted when Cryptic becomes Gearbox? So Gearbox is obtaining Cryptic Studios. There are no planned changes to the availability of our games in the foreseeable future. We are hard at work on continued development and committed to providing our players the best experience possible. How will this impact my account? Player accounts will not be impacted as an immediate result of Cryptic joining the Gearbox family. If any account changes are planned in the future, they will be announced in advance along with any details. Will we still be using the Arc launcher to access Neverwinter? So if you're playing on computer, if you're playing on PC, are you still using the Arc launcher? There are no plans to stop using the Arc launcher for our existing titles at this time. Again, any changes will be, announced way in advance. Gearbox probably isn't going to change very much. So let's look at the actual press release here and get into the finances here and the nitty gritty. So Embracer Group AB, which is also known as Embracer, has entered into an agreement to acquire 100% of the shares in Perfect World North America Corporation and Perfect World Publishing. So that's basically PWE, guys. Perfect World Entertainment. If you're not familiar how business works, most of these companies are all subsidiaries of an existing parent company. So, for instance, Cryptic Studios has always been, well, not always, but for a very long time, has been a subsidiary of Perfect World Entertainment. Perfect World Entertainment was a subsidiary owned by Perfect World Europe. So the changes goes down, right? So Embracer, the Embracer Group, if you're unfamiliar with the Embracer Group, Gearbox Studios is a subsidiary for the Embracer Group. Embracer Group is the parent company that basically owns everything. They have numerous companies, games, titles under their belt. We're talking about multi-billion-dollar corporations here. We're talking big numbers, big business here. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, Perfect World Europe. So like I said, the Embracer Group has acquired 100% shares not only in Perfect World North America, which I said was PWE, Perfect World Entertainment, but that includes Cryptic Studios, including PWE Publishing and Cryptic Studios. The acquisition adds on a total of 237 employees. The purchase price for the acquisition comprises a one-time payout of $125 million USD. Now, this is going to be divided in half, essentially. So 60 million USD is going to be in cold hard cash, and then 65 million USD is going to be in B shares of Embracer. Now, this is all subject to consideration, adjustment at closing. So they entered and announced the contracts yesterday, December 21st. This isn't going to be finalized until later next year, probably January, February. I think it says in this news brief here. So the purchase price net cash amount is about 103 million. So yeah, somebody's getting paid, boys. Somebody's getting paid. So upon completion of the transaction, PWE will operate within the Embracer Group as a subsidiary of Gearbox Entertainment Company. Again, subsidiary of a subsidiary. It just goes down the list. So, yeah. So, the Embracer Group is basically the parent company. Gearbox is a subsidiary of Embracer. And now PWE and Cryptic Studios is both going to be a subsidiary of Gearbox. I hope you guys are following. I know if you're not familiar with big business and how it all works, I know it's a little confusing, but we'll try to clear some of that up. With a continued focus on publishing and creating games, PWE comprises a team of 237 full-time employees, including the team behind the publishing unit. Through the acquisition of PWE, Gearbox Entertainment will onboard PWE Publishing and Cryptic Studios, which will both remain independent within Gearbox Entertainment. So, that answers some of the questions that I had right away. What was going to happen to Cryptic Studios employees, PWE employees? Is everybody getting fired? Is everyone going to migrate and become a Gearbox Entertainment employee? No. What's happening is Cryptic Studios is not going anywhere. Essentially, Embracer has purchased the company. The company is still going to be independent, even though it is a subsidiary. Embracer makes all the money. Embracer is the parent company. So all of the employees most likely are going to be perfectly fine. Cryptic Studios is still going to exist. It's just owned by someone else. Instead of being owned by Perfect World, the European company, now it's owned by Embracer, which is a Swedish company. So Cryptic Studios is still going to be there. Neverwinter is still going to be there. Nothing is getting shut down. Nothing is going into maintenance mode. Everything is going to still be there. They are going to continue to develop content for Neverwinter, Star Trek Online, etc. It's just they're owned by someone else. That's the only thing that changed, is ownership of the actual company. So no one's job is in jeopardy. No, I highly doubt there's going to be layoffs, etc. And the game is still going to progress forward. Founded in 2000, so I was right, headquartered in Los Gatos, California, Cryptic Studios is one of the rare handful of studios with experience launching and operating multiple MMOs at scale, which is a true statement. Even though Neverwinter has been severely lacking in the past several years, you have to give credit where credit is due. Cryptic Studios has been around for 21 years. It's a very long time for a gaming studio to exist. And they're still going to exist. They're just owned by someone else. The studio has a track record of success with 3 of the last 4 launches, which is hilarious because they're talking about Magic Legends here. Magic Legends obviously launched, failed miserably, and it was a big whoopsie daisy. So 3 of the last 4 launches achieving meaningful commercial success, which means Neverwinter makes a lot of money, which they do. Star Trek has made a lot of money. When Champions Online was a thing, it made a lot of money. It did. You can't deny that. Neverwinter and Star Trek Online continue to be top performing MMOs with highly engaged user bases. Now, this is obviously fabricated a little bit just for the article. I mean, we all know Neverwinter has been slowly degrading over the past several years. And now, hopefully, now that, Cryptic Studios is owned by Gearbox, thus being owned by Embracer, who has billions of dollars, now Cryptic has the chance in the finances to progress Neverwinter in a better way now. Now they have, Gearbox can hire more people. Cryptic can hire more people. They can afford more employees to work on the games. So hopefully going forward, this is just going to be better for everyone. Embracer is ultimately going to make money as long as Neverwinter and Star Trek are now handled correctly. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Perfect World Europe and Perfect World North America have been running Neverwinter badly for a very long time. Many years now. 3-4 years. Neverwinter has been downgraded a lot. It's been descaling backwards non-stop. Whether it's any excuse in the book you want to look at, coronavirus took a big toll on every single market in the world. Layoffs, losing developers, losing employees. You're talking about Neverwinter having a skeleton crew trying to maintain a MMORPG is not an easy task. So there are reasons why Neverwinter has been failing for several years. Now, there's not going to be any excuses for Neverwinter not to bounce back and start thriving again. They have the bankroll, they can hire more developers, etc., employees, and now they can start generating better content going forward. This is, of course, all speculations. Neverwinter might just be the same dog shit game. I don't know. I can't foresee the future, but what I do know is the concrete facts that are presented before us. There's absolutely no reason. Now, the biggest thing in the argument is, Perfect World Europe is also a very large company. They have a very large bankroll as well. So why was, Neverwinter not delegated better with better development? Why was, no employees being hired, etc.? I'm going to say that Embracer probably has a lot more money than Perfect World Europe. I don't have the exact totals, and it is what it is, but I can make a safe assumption and hypothesize that Embracer ultimately is not going to deal with any nonsense. Okay, so we'll have to see what happens. Founded in 2008 and headquartered in Redwood City, California, PWE Publishing is known for publishing, leading, blah, blah, blah. So PWE has always just been the publisher. Cryptic Studios is the actual developers. PWE was just the publishing company. Embracer has acquired both of those entities. PWE Publishing portfolio includes Torchlight as well. Torchlight 1, 2, and 3 now. You have to remember that Cryptic Studios only has 3 games. PWE Publishing had a lot more titles, including Torchlight, Remnant from the Ashes. So it is what it is. In partnership with Embracer, owned development studio Gunfire Games, PWE Publishing comprises at a team of 101 employees. During 2021, PWE had operating losses stemming from the cancellation of Cryptic's newest MMO, Magic Legends, and a gap in PWE Publishing's release schedule. So, they're blatantly tell you, the companies were failing. Okay, simple as that. PWE and Cryptic Studios were failing, miserably, and now here to the rescue comes Embracer. Embracer is highly confident that under its leadership, both Cryptic and PWE will be strong financial contributors. I lost my space, sorry. In addition to their strategic value with new IP and an MMO capability that has been missing from Embracer's portfolio. So out of all of the games Embracer has, they don't have any MMORPGs, guys. This is going to be the first time that they're not only getting one, but two MMOs added to their portfolio. Star Trek Online and Neverwinter. And they're also gaining the IPs, which raises the questions, well, when the company's being sold, Wizards of the Coast still owns the property rights to Dungeons and Dragons and Star Trek. So, now there doesn't seem to be any legal issues now that the company's being sold, blah, 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 to a new parent company and then a subsidiary, etc., etc. All of that licensing should not be in jeopardy. Wizards of the Coast will be working now with Embracer and Gearbox Studios, and most likely Cryptic. They'll all be on conference calls, etc. Wizards, Papa Wizards doesn't play any games. Papa Wizards has a lot of money. So Wizards of the Coast is still ultimately going to be in control of Neverwinter and Star Trek as far as content releases, most likely, because that is still their IP. But as far as the license goes, everything, I'm assuming, transfers over with it, so Cryptic Studios still has the licensing and the IP rights for Dungeons and Dragons as well as Star Trek. Cryptic Studios currently operates 3 long-standing MMOs, Neverwinter, Star Trek, and Champions, even though Champions has been, in maintenance mode for years, with a shared lifespan of 25 plus years. These titles generate significant profits. Like I've always said, no matter how bad Neverwinter looks on paper, Neverwinter is still generating profit margins quarterly. Don't let them fool you. They are making profit. They're making revenue. Embracer expects the live Cryptic titles will continue to be strong and steady for the upcoming years. So that tells me that Embracer is going to make sure Neverwinter and Star Trek still have a longevity of years to come, guys. Keep in mind, Neverwinter has been around for 8 years, going to be 9 years in April. So what's the longevity of a normal MMO? 10 to 15 years if you're lucky? So Embracer and Gearbox want to work, alongside with Cryptic and push them in the right direction to make sure the game is developed properly, so they will continue to have player base spending money. Quarterly profit margins have to continue. PWE Publishing has a compelling slate of upcoming games while continuing to evaluate new opportunities. Of the existing slate, PWE's next launch is planned in 2022, with 5 additional releases by 2024. In calendar year 2021, the companies are estimated to generate net sales of approximately 700 million SEK, which is Swedish krona? I think it's krona, right? SEK, Swedish krona. So I don't know what the exchange rate is between USD and the Swedish currency, but I'm pretty sure SEK is the Swedish krona currency. So 700 million is the estimated. This includes some revenues from discontinued products at Cryptic. Embracer Group forecasts that the transaction will contribute a break-even operational EBIT during fiscal year of 2022 and 2023. And Swedish krona 200 to 300 million during fiscal year 23 and 24. So they plan on making money. They plan on making money. Of their investment, remember, they only spent 125 million USD. Their goal is to make profit. Simple as that. I don't know what the conversion rate is, so their estimations and their forecasts of what they're estimating to make here, I don't know the conversion rate for USD and SEK. These forecasts exclude any notable commercial or cost synergies, their overhead, etc. It's an honor, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read any of that. No one cares. The purchase and lockup. So this basically just says, subject to closing adjustments, 125 million USD purchase price comprises a one-time payout divided into, like I said earlier, $60 million in cash, $65 million in B shares of Embracer. The purchase price net of cash amounts to $103 million USD. 50% of the shares to be issued are subject to a 1 year, which is 12 months lockup period. If you're not familiar with the stock market or how it works there, you can't sell your stocks. You have to wait a full year. So anyone that's going to be getting B shares of Embracer, they simply just can't flip it right on the market. You have to wait 1 full year is the lockup period for this deal and this transaction. 50% of the shares are a 2-year lockup period. So let's say you're a low executive, you might get X amount of the shares that are going to be on this 2-year period waiting time. So you have to wait 2 years before you can try to sell your shares. The shares to be issued as part of the consideration are issued at a price of 90 SEK per share, which equals the 20-day volume weighted average price of Embracer B shares on NASDAQ, up and into including the 17th of December, using FX rate USD SEK of 9.1358. So I guess that's the ratio, 90 Swedish to USD Swedish. I don't know. I'd have to look up the actual exchange rates. Don't really care, to be honest. The shares to be issued represent approximately 0.60%, approximately 0.39% of the total number of shares and votes in Embracer, respectively, on a fully diluted basis. By issuing the shares, the number of shares will increase by 6.5 million to 1 billion, and the number of votes increased by 6.5 million to almost 1.7 billion, divided among 66 million in shares of 1 billion B shares. The share capital will increase by approximately Swedish krona 9,100 to approximately 1.5 million. To approximately 1.5 million, yes. Upon completion of the transaction, the board of directors will resolve to issue the shares pursuant to authorization granted by a general meeting. So basically all of this just says who's getting cash, who's getting shares, who's getting a mixture of both, who's going to get the 24-month lockup, who's getting the 12-month lockup shares. This is just for people, the executive, the board of, who's ever getting the money, essentially. The transaction was signed December 21st of 2021, expected to close in February of 2022, blah, 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 blah. And then the advisors, Juno Capital Partners acted as M&A and strategic advisor to Embracer and Gearbox. Fenwick and West acted as legal counsel. EY acted as financial and tax advisor to Embracer and Gearbox. I mean, we're talking big business here, guys. Big business. I just wanted to clear up anything going forward because there's a lot of people worried that just Neverwinter's going away now. That's not the case. I don't think anyone's going to lose their jobs. Cryptic Studios is still going to be in existence. It's now just owned by a parent company. Neverwinter, Star Trek is not going anywhere. The games are going to be further developed and advanced, hopefully better now, and maybe we can get a higher player base going again. I don't know. Additional information, you got the CEO, the co-founder and CEO of Embracer, which is Lars. And then you have the CCO, the Chief Communication Officer. Gearbox is Dan. And then here's a little write-up about Embracer Group. So Embracer Group is the parent company of businesses developing and publishing PC, console, and mobile games for the global games market. The group has an extensive catalog of over 250 franchises. Like I said, Embracer Group doesn't play games. This is a major corporation. You're talking about billions of dollars. Saints Row, Goat Simulator, Dead Island, Darksiders, Metro, MX vs. ATV, Kingdoms, Time Splitters, Satisfactory, Wreckfest, Insurgency, World War Z, and of course everybody knows Gearbox is known for Borderlands, and many others. The head office is in Karlstad, Sweden. Embracer Group has a global presence through its 8 operative groups. So, THQ Nordic, Koch Media Publishing, Coffee Stain, Amplifier Game Invest, Saber Interactive, Deca Games, Gearbox Entertainment, and Easy Bright. The group has 86 internal game development studios and is engaging more than 9,000 employees. I said, major business here. And contracted employees in more than 40 countries. So Embracer Group is everywhere. Hopefully, Neverwinter is going to be now going in the correct development path. Let's hope that Neverwinter is going to turn into an amazing game once again. So I will leave the financial information in the description below if you want to reread, go through all of this, etc., etc., etc. I'll also leave the FAQ in the description as well. But this is a major move pushing forward for Neverwinter. Like I said, Embracer has the bankroll to hire more developers, get Neverwinter back on track. Again, Cryptic Studios is still going to exist. It's still going to be all the development team. But now they're going to be reporting to, a big boss. Not only do they have to listen to Wizards of the Coast, but Embracer is not going to play any games. They want to see high profit margins, high profit quarterly margins. This is all big business. I know all of you watching out there, it's just a game to you. It's a game that you've been playing for years. It's a game that you love. It's a game that I love. But at the end of the day, it's business. Neverwinter is a free-to-play title. Its objective is to make as much revenue as possible. And now with the leadership capabilities that Embracer has and the successful track record that Gearbox Studio has, I'm confident that Neverwinter should have a bright future now that it's in the correct hands. So, Cryptic will still be developing the game. It's still going to be the same developers that we currently have, but they are going to have to answer to some, high-end people that are going to be watching very closely, especially with the failed opportunity that Magic Legends was and what had happened to that title. Embracer is not going to be playing any games. Wizards of the Coast is going to be keeping a watchful eye as well. It is still their IP. They still own the rights to Star Trek and Dungeons and Dragons. They don't want their reputations tainted. So we'll see what happens. Only the future will let us know how it goes. Only the future will tell. We'll see a couple months down the road if we notice any significant changes, if we notice anything with the in-game currency is one of my questions and concerns. Gearbox has always had a business model of not free-to-play, but direct sells. Gearbox business model is direct sells, aka Borderlands. They made Borderlands, they sell the full game. You pay $60 or whatever, you get the full game. Any DLCs that come out, you buy the DLC. They have really no experience with a free-to-play title with a cash shop that has to generate revenue. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen, if we're going to see price adjustments on anything, if we're going to see different things being sold. I just don't know. I don't know what the future is going to have. Again, Embracer doesn't have any MMORPGs in their portfolio. Neverwinter and Star Trek will be their first MMORPG experience as far as a company goes. So, we'll see what happens. Cryptic Studios is, like I said, still going to be developing the game. They're just going to have different bosses that they have to answer to now. And when stuff is going bad, they're going to have to, deal with the consequences from their new bosses, essentially. So, best of luck to Cryptic Studios going forward. In my opinion, this is a good move. Perfect World Europe selling PWE as well as Cryptic is a good move for everyone. Perfect World Entertainment just made a buttload of money. Now I believe firmly that Cryptic Studios is in proper hands, and hopefully we can see results. I want to see results. I want to see in June of 2022, I want to slowly start seeing results. By the end of next year, I want to see results. I want to see good results. I know this is a longer video. We had a lot to discuss. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave them below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Major news again. Cryptic Studios, as well as Perfect World Entertainment, has been bought by Embracer. Embracer, again, being the parent company. It is now going to be a subsidiary of Gearbox Entertainment. Again, Embracer is the parent company of everything. So, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. We'll see you guys real soon.